Hi, welcome to Spiritual Connection. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach, I'm an energy healer, and I'm a shamanic practitioner. I'm also the spiritual head of the Transformation Center CT, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we do a variety of trainings, workshops. We have satsang once a month, generally the 4th or the 5th Wednesday evening of every month. And that's an opportunity to just come and do some meditation. You know, we have chanting. It's just a very wonderful, relaxing, spiritual evening to spend with yourself and others on the spiritual path. We also have private sessions, individual sessions, and coaching and healing, pretty much whatever you need. So we'd love to see you at the center whenever you can make it. So the Spiritual Connection show is all about connecting with each other, as well as connecting more fully with our own spiritual selves. So through meeting my guest, because every week I have a different guest, you'll learn so much about what's available for you and really what will serve you on your spiritual journey. So welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And tonight, my guest is Mica DeSantis. Welcome, Mica.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you here tonight.
So excited to be here. Thanks.
So I'm going to read a little bit about you that you gave me so our audience can get to know you just a little bit before we get started. So Mica is an energy healer and a conception catalyst. I love that term. And through that, she focuses on helping women conceive and empowering them on their journey. So we're going to learn more about that later. She has a business called Life Sketching, and that's based in Weston, Connecticut. And through that, she works with pretty much everybody, men, women, children, anyone who really wants to like either create or recreate a life that they love.
Right.
Yeah, so that's awesome. And she does that through energy work and soul coaching. And she is a Reiki master, and she's becoming a full-fledged shamanic practitioner herself.
Right.
So we have that in common.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to hear a lot about that. But before we do, could you share with us a little bit about your spiritual journey so far?
Sure.
Great.
Yeah, mine started pretty young. One of the most significant things that went on for me, or has gone on for me up to this point, I was about 2 years old when it kind of started. And for about a year, between 2 and 3, I would actually be taken somewhere at night. So, you know, whether I was, you know, asleep or awake, or, you know, I would kind of go on these adventures with what I would call clowns. Mm-hmm. So it was pretty much the same dreams every night, and I would be walking with what I called the bad clown, and he'd be walking me by a big glass house, and the glass house was filled with babies and the good clown. And everybody in the house, the clown and the babies, would be crying, and this would go on every night. And so it was just kind of a weird thing, and you know, I would tell my parents, you know, every night that this was happening. You know, it became a big discussion with the whole family, as you can imagine. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like I don't know, maybe traumatic.
Was it frightening?
It was frightening because it was very real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be awake and I would actually hear footsteps, like on the roof. Mm-hmm. And I would say, you know, flippers up on the roof, and I would tell my parents, and it was always these 2 clowns, and always the babies in the house. So the babies in the house didn't mean much to me until just a few years ago, but all the pieces are kind of coming together now. Wow. For kind of what I'm doing and what's developed over the years. Yeah. So that went on for me when I was a baby, and just my whole childhood I always was very open and connected with things. So, you know, I would see things, I would dream things, I would get messages, it was all great. You know, it didn't feel, you know, frightening or weird to me, maybe to others.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like my teen years and like my you know, high school and college years is kind of like everything kind of took a step back.
Right.
It wasn't so strong.
Yeah, as
right.
it normally does.
Right.
When it goes dormant a little bit.
Yeah. And then I guess the next thing that kind of triggered another awakening for me was I wound up getting sick after college, and I was diagnosed with MS. So, I always knew that I kind of was empathic and I would take on people's energies and things like that, but I didn't understand enough about it. I never really learned about any of the things that were going on for me throughout my life.
Right.
So I think that's what triggered, the illness for me. I was in the business world, so I was working a lot of stress. I worked for IBM. I was in sales, running around New York, and I think everything just kind of caught up with me, and it was like time for it to stop.
Right. Well, you didn't have the resources to know what it meant or how to deal with it, probably.
Yeah. So I did. So I slowed down. I eventually left work and kind of took a step back from all that. But then things started opening up again, and things started happening. So one of the big things that happened was this whole thing around this conception catalyst thing. So during those years, I didn't know anything about energy work. I didn't know what chakras were. I didn't know, about third eye and things like that. But we had a party at my house one night when I had just moved up here and I was just married, and we had a bunch of people at the house, and my sister had brought her friend, and her friend was telling me that she'd been trying to get pregnant for over a year. Nothing was happening. She went to all these doctors. There was nothing wrong with her. And I don't know why I said it, but I said, well, I can help you get pregnant. I said, but it was a party. We were all had a few drinks. I said, I don't know if it's the best night, if I can touch you, but then, you're going to want to try to conceive tonight, and I don't know if you'll make it home. It's going to be late, and she was like, well, I'll just, I'll borrow your bedroom. I was like, okay. Anyway, so I don't know why I did it, but I just touched her on her third eye, closed my eyes, and I had a full vision of a baby boy's face come through. And that was that. And I said, okay. And she went off, and a few weeks later, she's pregnant.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, what a gift.
Yeah. And, again, I still didn't know I don't know, I never knew what was happening or why it was happening, but, everybody then, family members, friends were like, touch me, do what you did to her. And then it would keep happening. So every time someone came to me and I did that, and they would become pregnant. And again, that just kind of it was almost like a party trick, it still wasn't like part of my life. I wasn't, living and working in the world of energy. And, so years went by, and, I didn't get into that much. And then, a friend of mine here invited me to go to a vision board class. So I went, and the woman that was running the class, we were kind of like watching each other through the class. We felt very connected to each other. I hadn't known her. And she came up to me at the end, and she was like, what's your deal? We started talking, and so we just started spending time together, and the topic about, me touching people to help them conceive kept coming up. And she said, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And I was like, what does that mean, doing, She's like, you're supposed to be helping women conceive. And I was like, okay, wow, I don't know what that means,
That's why you're here. That's your life purpose.
Yeah, and then on the typical story, and then all the right people started coming into my life, and I took a Reiki class, and then it just went from there, and it just opened up everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and then then I started to kind of understand why I physically did what I was doing. I was connecting with their third eye, and it was it was healing and opening up and connecting so much stuff for them to be able to conceive. And then now through the energy work with what I do with people, and clearing blocks and healing certain things, it's brought on a whole other layer to it.
Yeah, there's so much there that's possible once you open that door.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, when did you connect your childhood dreams with your purpose that you found?
Yeah, it's so funny, thinking about how I didn't connect it. And the same woman, Brooke, said, that's what you were doing. Like, you were being brought to them. You were learning to communicate with them. This is, on some, it's kind of hard to describe, where it was and how it was, but
it's another plane.
Yeah. So now when I'm working, I get messages from what we call soul babies. So before they're there's all different, so it's souls that have come to the earth already may have passed. We get messages through them, and then if they're looking to come to
they're
come
ready,
and they're really like like if I'm already working with who's going to become their parents and things like that, I'll get specific messages from them. For me, I get them most easily through writing. So they actually come through as they're almost like little poems. And at the time, I share them. It doesn't really mean much, and then all of a sudden, all these things start happening that are connected with that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So do you believe that then we do, as souls, we choose who our parents are?
I do. Yeah. And
no, I do too. And so we come. We choose our parents based on what we need to learn in this lifetime.
Right.
And we travel with our, with our soulmates throughout lifetimes. And
I love hearing the stories when parents tell you how their their little babies tell them I picked you, or I saw you, and it's so interesting because so many people don't believe that. There's just so many different beliefs around it.
Sure.
But but that's one of the things I love too, because so many of my clients come to me and they have no idea what I'm talking about when I say soul babies or what I'm doing, and they're just usually looking for just any way that they can conceive. A lot of them are trying everything they can, and then when they can actually stop and think about all the things behind it and start noticing all the messages and all the magic that's happening around them. That's why I say it's having baby doesn't start with when you conceive. I mean, the journey is so long.
You need to prepare.
And they're connected with those souls for years and for lifetimes sometimes. There's the connection is so long, and we just we're trained to see it as such this finite time frame. Right. So but when they can open up to that, it's especially I work with a lot of women who have had miscarriages too. And I really enjoy that because I think there's the society doesn't give us that space to take the time to mourn that and to understand what we're feeling. Especially social media and everything else. You're seeing all these people getting pregnant and doing these different things, and it's you think you have to keep trying and doing it, and that's the first
bounce back,
and that's what most people say, right? It's when are you going to try again, or and it's no, you were connected with this soul, so that's a big piece of when I work with people too. It's they can actually and I work with them on different exercises where they can actually connect with the soul and ask them, will you be coming back, or and they get their answers.
That's a wonderful service. I mean, not only the conception piece of it, but the whole connection. I mean, you just open up their lives in so many ways.
It definitely doesn't stay in that conception area.
One little thing. That's a very important part of it, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. So the people that you originally helped, I mean, they didn't quite get all of that, I guess.
Right.
But they still, now, are you in touch with any of them?
Yeah, most of them. So they get to hear it from me now.
Good. It's never too late, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, the second person I worked with was actually my sister. So she was she's seen the whole journey, obviously, for me. But so I am in touch with them, and I actually I check in with a lot of them too, just to say, when we did this, if there's new things that I'm opening up to,
right?
And I have
discovered recently, you might want to help them share it with them,
right?
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I wish I'd known you back when I was trying to conceive.
And that's what everybody says, and and that's the thing. It's it's a hard thing to kind of put out there to the world because I see so many people struggling, right? And going through IVF and taking
that's what I had to do.
Yeah, and it's and that alone puts so many blocks in your right. So you're doing double the work. So I really like to work with people either during that process or before they go through it. You know, they might still need to take those steps, but at least and that's the whole, like, I talk about like an empowered conception. And that's part of it, is like remembering, like, you know, as you're going to these doctors and going through these steps that are scary, you like, just to remind them that they get to create their life and the choices they're making, and, you know, the energy around them, even if it's just protecting their energy when they walk into a doctor's office. What is it, white coat syndrome or whatever it's called, you know, just that, you know, just walking into the room, you know, so all those layers really take a toll.
They do matter.
They do.
That's great that you're able to help them do that. I wish I'd known all that. But yeah, so the people that that you've helped, I mean, do you feel like it's sort of like one big family almost? It feels that way to me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I feel kind of spoiled doing what I do. Because I
get to so many babies.
Right, I get to see these babies come, and it's like, it's the best thing. And I had a client the other day, and actually she actually wound up using a surrogate, which was the same process for us. So she had tried, I think it was like 2 surrogates before, and things didn't work out for whatever reasons. And it was the exact same thing. I do like this 3-part process I call ARC, and it's acknowledging, releasing, and connecting. So it's acknowledging everything. So it's obvious things in your life that might be causing blocks. You know, the obvious things when it comes to conception, but you know, your entire life comes up for review, right? So there's things you feel guilty about. There's things you regret. There's, you know, ex-partners that there might be leftover, you know, energy that needs to be, you know, the cords cut around that. And so it's kind of working through that, talking about the things we know about. There's things, you know, that we don't know about, but energetically we can clear them. And you know, then working through releasing that, and then connecting. So connecting with the soul baby, connecting with your higher self, and it's just, you know, kind of opening all that. I'm forgetting why I brought up this stuff.
Well, you're describing the process, and then how, well, I forgot too, but that's okay. Because I was going to ask you that question anyway, like, what is the process? And is it, so it's your energy, your Reiki training that allows you to do all of these things for your client? Yeah,
so like the way, you know, so the way a session is, you know, we sit and we talk for a good part of it. So it's going through all this. And then energetically I will go through and, you know, I'll unblock things based on what they've told me, but also, you know, what I'm getting during the session. And then the connecting with the soul baby. So I give them, you know, ways they can connect on their own. What I usually do is, because I work with people in person, and then I'll if they're somewhere else, I'll do Zoom calls with them.
Oh, good.
So it's the same process, and I'll do the energetic healing remotely. And then the soul baby messages I do when the session's over, and then I send to them, so they have it in writing, and, you know, they can kind of refer back to it. Yeah, so
that's great.
So those are kind of the
so
steps
the soul baby messages come to you, like are they channeled?
Yeah,
and then you write them down for the prospective parent. Oh, awesome! And that's before the baby's conceived.
Yeah.
So they already have that bond that is. I was going to say mother-child bond, but does the father get involved in the process?
You know what? To be honest, I haven't worked directly with the fathers at this point. I'm happy to. Most of the women come to me like, I haven't told my husband I'm here. You know, they don't really know how to like approach it, I think.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that could be the next opportunity.
I mean, I have had women who, after they've worked with me, have sent their husbands for like Reiki sessions and things like that, but they haven't brought them. As far as like the actual conceiving part.
So if there are physical issues that prevent somebody from conceiving, that has to be addressed in addition to what you're helping them with. Right. That's because you said that they may have to go through the doctor.
Right. And to me, you know, as far as me working with them, it doesn't matter to me what they choose to do or need to do. So it's you know, the whole, you know, the energy still needs to be healed. You know, and the connection.
Right. I mean, in a way, everyone is different but in another way, we're all the same.
Right. Oh, and that was what I think we started when I
Okay.
went through the process was the woman that was using a surrogate.
Oh, right.
Right. So that's what I was saying. It's
Yeah.
the same process. So she, for whatever reasons, wasn't working out with the other surrogates. But when she came to me, there were all these other things she still had to clear for herself personally.
Oh, wow.
So we did all that, and then she started working with another woman who's going to hopefully become the surrogate for her. So we just kept working while she was going through the details with the surrogate, and
That's amazing.
yeah, and then that baby came. So that's what I was going to say. So the baby came, and I had found out through a mutual friend that the baby was here, and I reached out to her. I said, "Oh, I heard the baby's here. You know, I was so excited." And she said, "Oh, you know, I actually invited you to the shower, but I didn't hear back from you. So I thought maybe you cut ties after you're done working." And I said, "Oh my God, no! I just didn't get the message." So you asked like if they become like a family and all that. So it was just kind of funny because I was like, "No, if it's up to me, I'll be a part of everybody's family and their babies." And
yeah. But that's interesting that the surrogate who was conceiving, I mean, did she have to do any work as well?
No, because the soul is connected with who's going to become their parent.
Oh, okay.
So
right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it really, I mean, not that it doesn't matter, but it.
Well, they have to be healthy and all that.
Right. So on that
different.
physical,
physical level.
Yeah. So mine is more of like the energetic and on the spiritual level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's the same thing, if someone's looking to adopt, same process and.
Well, this is really terrific. I'm sure that if, tomorrow I'm going to run into somebody that needs your help. I mean, isn't that how it always works?
Right, and everybody knows someone who's going through it. And
it's great to get the word out.
Yeah.
And you have a website, and we'll put that all your contact up at the end,
Okay.
how people can reach you.
Yeah.
Do you do any type of like workshops or anything for people who want to learn more?
Yeah, I do. I call it an empowered conception workshop. So if it's in a group setting, I could in the future, but I haven't. I don't do the hands-on when I do the workshops. So
no, I think that makes sense.
It's more like
informational.
Right, it's informational.
Yeah.
I'll do some of the. I do a lot of imagery exercises that I was trained by a doula to do some of these imagery exercises, which are really amazing because it's. They're like 1 minute, and in that 1 minute, it shifts your mindset like so quickly that you can heal something that quickly, and not have to go back to it, and not sit through years of therapy and things like that.
Awesome.
So that's pretty. So I'll do things like that in the workshops, and I kind of talk through. Like all that we're talking about in more detail.
Right.
And we'll do exercises to help them there, like connect,
Yeah, so they'll get some taste of the experience to come.
Yeah, because, some of the things, like one of the first steps I do with most of my clients is like have them with pen and paper write a letter to their soul baby. And it sounds kind of silly and hokey, but it's, we think all these things in our minds. It's like, I connected, or I'm trying to connect, I'm not getting anything. But it's like, no, if you actually like take the time to do the action, it's just
stronger.
So amazing. Yeah, what comes through, and that heals so much too. Because like, I don't read the letters or anything, so they can write anything they want, and I tell them, tell the soul what their life is going to be like. Tell them what your fears are. Tell them anything you're feeling. Like. Having regrets about anything.
Right, just be really open and honest.
Yeah, so just in that quick process of writing that letter, so many things shift.
So do you think, at what point does the soul baby, you said it's sometimes years in advance or lifetimes? Or
Yeah, I think if you talk to enough people about it, so many people will say like, oh yeah, when I was a little girl, I used to see, or feel this, little girl spirit around me, or, so, it just depends. I think they're always probably around most people, and it just depends if we notice it or not.
Yeah. So do you have your own children?
I do. I have 2 boys.
2 boys. How old are they now?
They are 11 and 13.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're still growing up. That's awesome.
Yeah, and my older one, when I was pregnant, I mean, his little soul would come to me all the time, and it's I would see his eyes and everything, and sure enough, I mean, it was him. And so.
Did you already know his name before?
No,
you waited.
Yeah.
Not that that's that important, but sometimes we have a sense of what they need to be called,
right,
or what their name is.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool. So happy you're doing this.
Yeah.
So would you do a workshop, for example, at the Transformation Center if we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy
set
to do it
something up?
anywhere. Yeah, like the last one I did is Angel Cooperative in Ridgefield.
Yeah, sure.
So in the Shingut room, we did a workshop there, which is great. Yeah, so anywhere, and we could do it.
All right, maybe we could set something up in Westport. Because I just have a feeling there's a lot of people that could benefit from this who aren't aware of it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds a lot like it's word of mouth at this point.
It is right now. Yeah. Like I said, it's especially if you're not already doing the energy work and not kind of in this realm of things. It's like, if I say, let me, teach you how to connect with your soul, baby, people are going to feel like,
okay, alrighty then.
We call my doctor.
Because it could be helpful not only for people who are wanting to conceive and having, issues conceiving, but for anyone, I would think, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't just have to be the soul baby. That happens to be what I focus on.
Well, how you started, too.
Yeah, right.
Because that was, there was a need and you filled the need.
Right.
Solve that problem in a way.
And it all overlaps too. Like when I worked with somebody, she's actually in Colombia in South America, and the messages that came through, they were her soul baby messages, but after I sent it to her, she said, "Oh my God, that's my father." And he had passed like 5 months before that. She said, it's like his exact words that he uses. So she's like, do you think he's coming through as my soul baby? And, I don't know, but, and that's the thing, it's like they have to translate.
You can't answer that.
Right. Yeah, but so.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we do travel with like I said, our soulmates,
Right.
And I know a lot of people that I've spent past lives with, and it's pretty amazing how that works.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this was so really eye-opening for me to talk with you and find all this out. I'm sure our audience is really fascinated too. So we're going to have to continue this conversation another time. We didn't get to talk about your shamanic practitioner work, but
it's all part of the same.
Yeah, you work with that as well.
Yeah.
All of those tools, they're great tools. So, so that's really cool.
Yep.
Yeah, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having
being
me
on the show. Is there anything else you'd want to share with the audience? You have about not even a minute, 30 seconds.
No, just, if anyone's looking for any kind of healing, or obviously if they're trying to conceive, I'm happy.
But it doesn't have to be around the conception.
No, absolutely
or
not.
the soul baby.
No. Any kind of anything, or any kind of life redesign. If you're just like kind of feeling stuck in your life and you just want to come and see what's going on with your energy and just brainstorming and things like that. We can do it on the phone or in person or on a video call.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks again, and we'll be in touch about doing a workshop.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And thank you to our our audience tonight. Appreciate your being here. Come again for the next episode of Spiritual Connection. And I'm your host, Katie Augustyn, signing off. Thank you, blessings, and good night.